In this video, I want to share the method that I use to build an attention span so good that it now genuinely feels disgusting to scroll. After watching this video, you'll go from being the guy who always procrastinates on his work, homework and going to the gym, even though he said he would be productive, to being the guy who can actually fucking do the hard work, who can sit down, be productive, complete some homework, go to the gym, meditate, or do something that isn't so stimulating without having the fucking urge to just scroll all the time. And so the way that I achieved this was through what I call the bathroom rule and a overstimulation detox, which is what I developed to personally stop looking at my phone all the time and checking it constantly and just being a slave to it. I literally went from being the guy who would like scroll as he was taking a shit, as he was eating, even when I washed the dishes and I was like taking on my clothes in the morning, I'd be watching YouTube. And now I'm able to sometimes have as low as 30-minute screen time days, and I can do normal boring tasks without feeling the withdrawal pains like a fucking drug addict. The amount of work that I've been able to put into this YouTube channel and all the pictures you're seeing on screen of my screen time should be enough to tell you that this system works. So let's get into it. A couple years ago, I really wanted to start getting productive and doing all the self-improvement habits. Every Sunday, I'd hype myself up and say, this is the week. This is the week that I actually fucking go and change. Tomorrow, it's 5 AM wake up. It's meditation, it's journaling, it's working on that new business that you've been thinking about. It's watching Iman Gadzi all day long. But then, on Monday morning, it's no more than me waking up and I'm already having my phone in my hand. The first thing I do after taking a piss in the morning is already scrolling. And now I don't really feel as motivated. And it always got worse, because I would always end up not even watching my plate without watching YouTube, and end up spending 5 minutes in the morning brushing my teeth. But not because I was like, productive and oh yeah, I'm brushing my teeth. No, it was because I was watching YouTube on the side. I tried implementing the advice of, oh yeah, the first 2 hours in the morning, don't use your phone. But the moment I was taking a piss in the morning, I'd already opened up my phone and checked Snapchat. And the worst part for me was that deep down, I know I had potential. I really wanted to fucking improve, and I knew I wasn't stupid. I just couldn't figure out a way to stop doing this behavior. Like, even though I watched thousands of videos, like not even thousands, but hundreds of videos, it seemed like nothing really worked for me. Like I'd literally watch so many self-improvement videos every day and get motivated. But I'd always just end up going back to watching Sidemen Among Us for a couple hours after school. But at one point I realised I wasn't just lazy. Like, I could force myself to do all these things, so I wasn't really lazy. The problem was just my attention span. It was completely cooked. I couldn't sit there with my own thought for 5 seconds without checking my phone. It wasn't so much my laziness, it was my attention span. And so that's where we get into step 1, the bathroom rule. Now, this bathroom rule was what changed it all for me at first. It was only when I implemented this rule that I was able to go to the gym consistently, do all the self-improvement habits, and do work for my business. Every time I fell off this simple bathroom rule, I'd also struggle with all the other things that I just mentioned. And the bathroom rule is actually very, very simple. And I can explain it in one sentence. Just do one thing at a time. You see, I know you don't read Danish, but literally right here on this paper it says "en ting ad gangen," and it means in English one thing at a time. I've literally put it on my wall to remind myself that I need to do everything at like one thing at a time. And you might think, well, why the fuck is it important that I do one thing at a time? Well, the reason is that we've become so used to multitasking all the time. Always taking a shit and scrolling, eating our food and watching YouTube, washing the dishes for me and scrolling, being on the bus and scrolling, riding our bike, listening to music. We can't do shit at just one thing at a time. And that's why our attention span is so cooked. We need that extra bit of stimulation to do these boring tasks all the time. And so the bathroom rule is all about trying to not so much just say, oh yeah, you can't scroll anymore. You can't sit in the sofa and enjoy like a TV show or whatever. It's about saying, okay, we're going to do everything one thing at a time. That way we train your attention span to start becoming used to doing the boring task without doing something whilst you're doing it. So not only will you become more locked in on the one task when you're using the bathroom rule, but you also scroll less automatically, because now you're not scrolling when you're on the toilet, when you're eating, when you're on the bus, whatever. So not only are you decreasing your screen time, but you're also training your attention span to not all the time be stimulated whilst doing something boring. You become more used to doing one thing at a time. And so I just started reminding myself every day, doing one thing at a time. And so I told myself, oh yeah, when you go to the toilet, leave your phone. When you eat, leave your computer. When you go for a bike ride, just enjoy the nature there. You don't need this extra stimulation. So I started just doing one thing at a time, and that's the first step. But it isn't, of course, enough that I tell you what to do. You also need step 2, which is building consistency. Because by now you already know what to do. You know, you need to be fucking like consistent. You need to follow the bathroom rule. You need to not scroll on your phone when you're taking a shit and not when you're eating. But how do we get consistent? How do you stay disciplined towards this path of bettering your attention span? Because the moment I stopped using the bathroom rule, as I said, because there have been periods when I've been forgetting it, that's when my procrastination shot up. I'll not go to the gym. I'll not upload a video for weeks. I wouldn't do any of the self-improvement habits. It's like I just couldn't sit down to do the hard tasks. But there is one thing that always, throughout all of my self-improvement journey, has held me accountable. And I've talked about this so much, but it's so important. And that is a habit tracker. And again, you'll be able to see my habit tracker here in the background because I still use a habit tracker and I'm never going to stop using them. And a habit tracker is basically a scorecard for your life. So in video games where there's like daily tasks to do, where you get rewards and you feel like a sense of progress every single day. Well, I've emulated that exactly in real life by making a habit tracker. So what this does is that I just write down the hard task at the top. So I have one that's saying like script writing, and the next one is meditation, and then there's going to the gym. And all these habits that I want to do is on my habit tracker. And then for every single day there's a checkbox, and I need to tick it off if I do the habit. I need to cross it if I don't do the habit. And so what this creates is a gamified process for building discipline and building these good habits and sticking to the bathroom rule. Because not only does it hold me accountable, because I've literally fucking hanged it on my wall. Like, this is very important. Once you create your habit tracker, which is like a lot of checkboxes and then the habit at the top, this one is by my work because it's for work, and then I have one right over here by my bed, which is like for everything. Literally lie down on your pillow where you're sleeping every night and look where your eyes going in the morning and hang it on the wall. I've helped so many guys do this, and every time they tell me, oh yeah, it doesn't work, and I'm like, did you hang it on your wall by your bed? And they're like, no, I put it on my desk, and yeah, then they forget about it. So hang it on your wall right by your bed. Not only will it hold you accountable, but also make the process way more fun, because then you get that little dopamine spike every time you do the good hard thing, because you get to tick the box. And soon you'll have built up like an entire week straight of progress, and you'll be like, shit, I don't want to lose this progress now. I have to stay consistent. And if you're still struggling with consistency and the habit tracker, I've literally made a 7-day discipline challenge that you can check out in the description. It's where literally daily I help you through everything you need to do so you can become consistent in any habit, whether that's the bathroom rule or whatever you want. I'll literally give you my entire habit tracker system, template, so you don't even need to make your own, and tell you exactly how to do it and make you consistent in a habit within 7 days. And yeah, if you want to check that out, there's a link in the description. It's the second link. So you know how to get consistent with the bathroom rule, but I want to add a little bonus thing. So here is step 3, thinking time. Because you probably watch so many self-improvement videos and they always talk about meditation, and meditation is really good. But I've found for training your attention span, there is something that is even more OP than meditation, which is the opposite of meditation. Now you might think, well, what is the opposite of meditation? Well, that is, instead of sitting down and focusing on one thing and trying to keep refocusing back onto it, you sit down and focus on nothing. I know that sounded silly and anticlimactic, but what it's all about is just leaving your brain completely unstimulated. It's literally just sit down in your chair like I'm doing right now and just be bored. Just sit there and think. Because not only when you just sit down and stay bored, you'll think more productive thoughts and you'll get new ideas on how to change your life. But more importantly, you'll understimulate your brain so that work now becomes more interesting. And because your baseline is now either you sit and look into the wall, or you work on your business, or you go to the gym, or you do the self-improvement habits, suddenly it doesn't seem too bad to do those habits, and they're actually interesting, because the other thing that you'd be doing is just sitting like this. So you train your brain to be used to even more boring situations than doing the hard work. And so suddenly it becomes interesting for you to do what was previously the hard work. And think about how the law of gravity was like how he even came up with the idea of it. It was literally the guy who figured it out. He sat below an apple tree and an apple fell on his head. And that's when he started thinking about this theory. It was because he was bored and he was sitting in the back garden and this apple fell on his head. He wasn't doing anything, he wasn't overstimulated. And trust me bro, I've never been more productive and gotten better thoughts after I started understimulating myself and just sitting there and thinking. Bro, literally just sit down and do nothing and watch how much more interesting the hard tasks suddenly become. And if you feel like that 7-day challenge that I talked about isn't even enough for you, and you're still struggling with procrastination, and you want to break free from the dopamine depression of just scrolling and procrastinating all the time, then I've also made a 30-day program where I take you literally in the hand, and I show you everything I know about self-improvement, building discipline and breaking free from scrolling in literally 30 days, and there's even 6 bonus courses in there. You can check it out in the description, it's the first link, and there'll literally be daily videos with action steps on exactly what to do to change your life, become more disciplined and break free from this dopamine depression so you can finally be proud of yourself again. Alright mate, that's it. Put one foot in front of the other.